Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time, On Target morning show where we invest with fighter pilot precision on a daily basis. Welcome to you live this morning from foggy Dallas, Texas, as you can not really actually see in the background there, but it is supposed to be a beautiful skyline, background for the show this morning. It is not. It is some fog that's supposed to clear during the show, but since that basically blacks out me, I'm going to turn and during the intro here, and so you can actually see me. Also wearing the Yeti jersey, as you know, as promised. And as you know, that Austin Football Club has its first match this weekend, tomorrow with the LA Football Club. There's a pretty cool clip out there with Matthew McConaughey and the Will Ferrell going back and forth on their two football. So I assume they're going to be both at the game tomorrow and probably putting on quite a show for everybody. But for today's topic, as you see, the futures are in the green. So again, continuing on from what has been a pretty good run now, going on about 3 weeks of the market going up. That is not going to last forever. There is going to be a big red day coming up at some point, but it doesn't look like it's going to be today because there's a lot of good news in the air. The only real negative headline out there is that Turkey banned Bitcoin. So depending on how you view that and how that's going to affect the whole crypto market, it may not affect it at all. Bitcoin is selling off a little bit. Some of the other smaller names are actually going higher. You can kind of think of it as the ban on guns, right? Every time there's a potential legislation that comes out with guns and increased laws, there's kind of a run on the gun stocks, right? So maybe we're seeing that with the smaller crypto names. We're not seeing that with Bitcoin, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. Overall, our big topic of the day is going to be DraftKings. If you've been following DraftKings for a while, they've been on a 3-week slide as far as their stock price after a huge run up. However, they announced last night that they are going to be the official sports betting partner of the NFL. And you may think to yourself, well, aren't they already the partner of the NFL? Well, not really. They're partnering with the NFL basically for their daily fantasy partnership. So that's what you've seen in the past. Now, this new partnership is going to enable DraftKings and the NFL to basically partner in content. So the DraftKings you're going to be able to see on your fantasy apps or whatever you're using. You're going to see NFL highlights, all of the different next gen stats that's coming in through the normal feed there that you see on TV. Now it's going to come right into your fantasy in your sports betting app, so you'll be able to bet on that stuff. So I think it is really the future. And tied with that, another investing theme that gambling theme that came up yesterday is Las Vegas Sands is looking at putting 4 casinos in Texas. They basically are laying out this entire plan to put casinos in Texas to stop the Texans running to the border up to Oklahoma, or if you're on the eastern side over to Louisiana, to basically gamble. So all that revenue is leaving the state of Texas. Why would we do that? Las Vegas Sands has got this big plan. Of course, they're going to try to get that in front of everybody and then have us basically Texas vote on it in November. So anyhow, that's the overall plan. That's what we're going to talk about today. If you're catching us on replay, thank you so much. Please subscribe, hit the notifications bell so you know when this goes put up a replay every day. If you want to catch us live, you see a chat room, and what you don't see is a chat room and a Q&A window. So if you want to join us live, reach out through the website. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, welcome back, everyone. That was the intro. I'm trying to redo the intro so it's a little bit shorter based on some of the inputs that you guys have given me there. So thank you for those inputs, and hopefully the lighting's a little bit better now, so you actually see me while I'm talking to you. All right, so welcome to the Morning Brief. Here's our lineup card. Make sure you have your chat window set up and your Q&A window set up appropriately. Standard disclaimer applies. This is a financial education presentation, so you have to do your own due diligence for acting upon anything you hear in this presentation. Full disclaimer information is available at ototnow.com. All right, with that, let's look at our lineup for today, April 16th, Friday. Mission objectives for today: grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money, specifically focusing on growing our money through speculation. You know that DraftKings has been around for a while. It's been public for a while. We're going to pull the chart here in a few minutes to kind of look at the story of DraftKings. You happen to know that Kathy Wood is a big fan of DraftKings. That also helps prop the stock. She announced a couple days ago that she had been buying even more at current price levels. I'm not sure it's officially a buy here. If you didn't have any, you might nibble into adding a few shares here and there. But generally, it's pretty high on this news. I think it goes higher today. We'll look at it in the day trading portion of the show to see if it meets our criteria for going higher. But I'm not sure it's an outright buy right now. But if you have a bunch of it, I would certainly hold. I would not consider shaving or trimming any of your position at this point. We'll talk about this official partnership when we get to the news portion of the show. For the question of the day, we're going to talk about what is a correction. We haven't had one in a while, so a reminder that the corrections happen. They are perfectly normal, kind of like fog in Dallas. Doesn't happen a lot, but it's perfectly normal when it does. So we'll talk about what is correction and, again, how to handle those sort of things. All right, our flow today: long, short, open, short, long. We're going to take a look at the market review around the world. Surprisingly, in the green pretty much everywhere. We're going to take a look at the headline review back here in the U.S. Long-term investments we're going to take a look at are going to be DraftKings, of course, that we've already talked about. We'll talk about Golden Nugget Online Gaming. Again, this was a SPAC. I always blank on his name. Fertitta, the owner of the Houston Rockets. Again, this was his kind of pet company that went public now under the ticker GNOG, GNOG. So we're going to look at their chart as well. And then also I talked earlier about Las Vegas Sands and their big push to legalize gambling here in Texas, which I think I have to imagine would pass these days. A decade ago, I doubt it. But I think even more so, especially with the long-term trend of the, if you will, this is my opinion, liberalization of Texas. I think you're going to see more things like that be accepted here in a traditionally far-right conservative state. And again, if nothing more than the tax revenue, that makes perfect sense. So why are people? I'm in Dallas today. It's an hour north up to WinStar, largest casino in the world by square footage. That's the only measure I think that they can say they're the largest in the world. But why take all those Texas dollars and give them to Oklahoma, right? Or to the Native American tribes, or however the dollars flow. But basically, why are they leaving Texas is the point there. All right, for our short-term trades, if you look in the chat window, you see a couple there. Again, DraftKings long, PPG and Alcoa both crushed earnings this morning, so you can consider taking them long. And then, of course, you have Iova with an upgrade. They're up 9% on the downside. You have Editas Medicine, which is a genome editing company. They've been fairly well left for dead, and they got a big downgrade this morning. So again, if you're going to get in that space, you want to be with CRISPR Therapeutics. They are basically the big name out there. Any of the smaller names have really been crushed, and even CRISPR has been hit pretty hard. They're down about 30% off their high. Also, you can consider taking Riot Blockchain short. Based off of the Turkey ban of Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin, we'll take a look at the price here this morning in a bit, but pretty big sell-off across the board. And I'll give you my opinion once we get to that point. All right, we'll execute the market open. We'll get back to the Q&A session of the show, and then we'll cover the question of the day. Contingencies and academic resources are standard. All right, let's look at the TD Ameritrade ThinkPikes platform. Have a few screens up here for you. Again, this is set up for the day trade. You can see DraftKings selling off a little bit. It was up at 61. It's down at 59 now. And then there's your edit. You can see the EDIT ticker. I'll move that up so you can see it again. That would be a short if you're looking at taking that with about a 40-cent stop. All right, let's zoom out here for a second and take a look about where we are for the overall market. Again, pretty well a 9-month chart here. We did have a one red candlestick that basically one out of the past 14, 15 candlestick days have been green. So really the market's been chugging higher. The big interest rate specter that, inflation, oh my gosh, the world was ending from a week or two ago or a month ago, if you will, when the short term or the 10-year interest rate got above 1.7. That's not a factor anymore. It's back down below 1.6 as of today, or actually last night. So again, that's the storyline's really kind of been left behind, which is nice, right? So it allows the market to continue to power higher. It won't last forever. So if you got money sitting on the sideline, I'd say probably just wait. Wait until next week and just before you go ahead and put it to work, unless you're trying to capture something specific like coin, COIN. Again, Coinbase went out Wednesday, opened up trading down a couple days. So if you're looking at getting in there, you can. Yeah, I see Dogecoin coming up in the chat. That's literally my phone blows up with that stupid dog all the time, right? Yeah, I can't recommend it. There's a clip that Elon Musk is talking about Dogecoin, and he goes, it depends on how much of the world is based on irony, because wouldn't it be ironic if we made up a cryptocurrency as a joke and it became the main cryptocurrency? So, pretty fun clip if you like all things Elon Musk. Just Google that, Elon Musk, ironic, Dogecoin ironic, and you'll get a hit there. I was considering playing it this morning. It's that funny, but it's kind of off point, right? So if you're off into Dogecoin, good for you. Hope you make your millions. Make sure you get your Dogecoin hat and t-shirts so you can show all your friends. All right, back to the real world and the market again, looking at the market powering higher here. So yeah, it's not gonna last forever, but we're clearly in a several month uptrend. So I would not sweat any sell-off of any significance. Okay, let's go to the headlines for today and check out the futures. Going over to CNBC.com now. To refresh this real quick, you can see all the futures are in the green. Dow 34,000. If for those that are stats nerds out there, it is the fastest move ever from a 1,000 point increment in the Dow. That's not really an investable thesis to count on, but more of a FYI, if you will. But the Dow's up 0.25%, S&P and NASDAQ's up just barely 0.1%. Let's check out around the world. Over in Asia, everything in the green, as I talked about in the open. Again, Europe, everything in the green. Friday, yay, evidently. Our numbers from yesterday. The VIX, man, if you're a volatility trader, house of pain, right? The VXX got below 10. Can you buy more here? Only if you are a glutton for punishment. I would say technically yes, but if you're a VIX trader, you probably have enough already. Just let it go. Volatility will return. Be patient. You may have to wait a while, and you may be bleeding while you wait, but just wait. Grow up. 1.6 on the 10-year. That's what we talked about already. Oil up at 63%, or excuse me, $63. So out of that normal 40 to 60 range, we like. Gold and silver up fractionally today, and then of course the Bitcoin story back down to 61,000. Like I don't want to say who cares, but okay, I'll say it. Who cares? We don't care. We're in at 30,000, so it's up in the 60s. It'll go up and down. So let's talk real quick about when a government bans Bitcoin, it's like, well, I don't know if they can really ban it. I mean, they can ban it. Obviously, they did ban it. But if the U.S. tried to ban it, it's like, well, okay, now you make it illegal. Now you're going to take that entire thing off to a black market, which means all it's going to happen. It's just you're not going to be able to tax it, right? Because people are not going to be forthright about all of their gains, losses, all that. So it's the why not let these cryptocurrencies run wild, tax them as normal, either capital gains or interest. I'm not sure exactly how they're taxed because I don't own them outright. I own them through a trust. But however they're taxed, it's like take the tax revenue. The stuff's going to happen anyway. So we shall see. Don't forget, here in the U.S., pretty stable currency, most stable in the world. Yeah, I think almost everyone would agree. There's some people that would say that that's not true, but I think you can make that case. And we talked about Venezuela or some companies in Africa that are actually transacting in Bitcoin because their currency has failed. So for those especially that think that's going to happen around the world, Bitcoin and cryptos are the wave of the future. I don't necessarily, I haven't bought that yet, but I can certainly see it as a possibility, which is why it gives it investment value. I would say this would only be a storyline if in the next 2 weeks, like 10 to 15 other countries come out and ban Bitcoin. That would be something. And I would have to see, no disrespect to Turkey, but I'd have to see some majors, if you will. Starting to think like Germany would come out, or France, or Spain, or England, even Iran. If that's, if they came out as a big player in the Middle East and banned it, I don't know. We'll see. So not really concerned with the sell-off in Bitcoin today. Don't freak out. You're fine. All right, back to the headlines here in the United States. Morgan Stanley. So you would think this would be a short, but they lost almost $1 billion in that Archegos or however it's Archegos fund meltdown. I mean, that's crazy. $911 million in their stock is like up pre-market. I mean, I get it. Losses are behind them, so they've already eaten the loss. But it's like, wow, that's a lot of money, kids. No big deal, I guess. But across the board, you've seen all the bank stocks outperform, and it's been kind of crazy. I don't necessarily back the bank stocks here. All right, got a little long-winded. Here comes the market open here. I'm going to switch over to TD Ameritrade platform. Switch over to our day trading screen once I find it. Again, there's the opening bell that we're looking for. And again, we're watching DraftKings long and edit short. Let me get the screen. I know it's not displaying correctly. Let me get this screen set up here for you. There we go. So again, the DraftKings story long, you can see the S&P futures going higher. Got 1 minute charts across the board here, and we have edit short. So you can see DraftKings up 3.11%. So we're looking at taking that higher off of pre-market. It dipped all the way down to 58. So we'll kind of let that go for a second. In the middle screen, you have edit, again, down 6.88%. So we'll kind of let that establish a market high. I don't see a tremendous amount of volume, only 45,000 shares there. So thinking a 40-cent price point. High of the day is 38.35. So really we would need to stay here above 38 for a while and then take 38 short. 38 would be your entry price there. I'm just making a little